Good evening, everybody in YouTube world, and if you're watching this after in podcast world, welcome to the Toon review. And of course, tonight is the Nottingham Forest versus Newcastle United match preview. Lots to get through tonight. Lots of news coming out of Newcastle this morning. I don't know whether you've caught my early video, the daily news that I did earlier on. Callum Wilson has declared he hasn't trained for a week and a half. Anthony Gordon has suffered an injury setback. He's not expected back now till possibly Manchester United in April. We look like we may be going in for Mr. Bakker at Leverkusen again with possibly around £16 million bid in the summer. And Eddie was basically talking about how well Murphy, Willock, etc. are doing. It probably seems to me like he's not going to change the team too much. But we start off with a lovely £10 super chat from Mr. Chippers. Thank you very much, buddy. He says, apparently Dembele asked the Sunderland owner why there were only two people sitting in the higher tier. Well, yes. Good evening to Rachel. Mason said, it feels strange seeing my hero in Andre Ayew playing against Newcastle tomorrow. Hero? Why is he a hero? By the way,
he was a very good player once upon a time.
Yeah, I think Mason's a Swansea fan, isn't he? As well, he's got.
Is he? All right, okay. Yeah. Well, there you go.
He did incredibly well in France before he came over to these shores.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I'd just like to say that I put a tweet out yesterday, and lots of people tweeted this, and Jordan Pickford. Now, obviously, we have a laugh about him and things like that with his dinosaur arms, etc., etc. But what I saw yesterday was a genuine, lovely, absolute gem of a gesture when he came in to meet that little lad who'd been through absolute hell. And he's put brain tumors, sepsis, the whole lot. He'd been through it all. And I think he was only about 8 or 9 years old now. And Jordan Pickford was his favourite player. He went into the physio room, and the physio gave him a little bit of physio of how footballers get it, and because he was used to that through his illnesses. And then all of a sudden, Jordan walks through, and you can tell the little kid is overwhelmed. He's in tears, and then he took him out onto the practice area, and he met all the other players. If you haven't seen it, I would go and watch it, because it just, for me, confirms. I mean, look, loads of people who you meet and talk to around the Northeast say that Jordan Pickford is a lovely lad, a very genuine guy. He looks a bit different on the pitch, cocky and everything like that. But behind the scenes, he does a hell of a lot for charity. And what he did yesterday was an absolute wonderful, wonderful thing to do. And supporters from all over the country retweeted it and saying that, who's cutting onions and that kind of thing, because it was genuinely emotional. So a huge hats off to Jordan Pickford for doing that. And it just goes to show that, I guess, footballers, Billy, they get a bad rep sometimes, but, sometimes behind the scenes, people don't see what they actually do for charities and for young people like that little kid.
I mean, I went into it watching it, wanting to not like it, but God, it took to my heartstrings. The poor kid also lost his father. His father died very young also, while he was having his radiotherapy for his brain tumour. Yeah, and the likes of Connor Cody and them also were fantastic with him. They were taking penalties at Jordan Pickford, and he was taking penalties back. It was just a fantastic watch, and well done Everton Football Club, and specifically well done Jordan Pickford. Fantastic.
Yeah. We have our banter, but on a serious note, it was genuinely lovely to watch. Lee Mays says, why is there any reason the show is much earlier now? Well, it's only on a Thursday. It's only on the match preview that we go out earlier. We have reasons, but like everybody, we have reasons. But YouTube, you can watch it live. You can watch it later on. It's fine. But to be honest, 6 o'clock is a decent time as well. We still get the regulars in. Toon Sean's in. Good evening. Geordie Boy, Carlos, Ian A. JP just cannot wait for give us them stats, Alex. Let's go. People have missed it, bud. People have missed it.
Well, they are ready today. New and improved.
Exactly. James Pope says, I just want to say that if 5 ants and another 5 ants are living together, you call them tenants. Oh, my God. People still have Christmas cracker jokes. Has Southgate said Wilson's got an injury? Well, listen, Southgate said nothing. I mean, that England squad is...
Oh, I haven't seen it. What was it?
Oh,
check.
Yeah. Well, Calvin Phillips is there, mate, despite only playing 45 minutes this season.
Did he call Tony up, or has he gone with...
He's called Tony up.
He has called Tony up, okay.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure if he'd been Wilson and Tony off and go with Abraham or somebody.
Look, I don't... Look, I know a lot of people have said about Ivan Toney and the betting scandal, etc. Look, until that's done and dusted, he can still play. So, listen, he deserves a shot. He's played really,
I'll tell you
really
who
well.
needs to call up. That kid we looked at on the transfer show yesterday, that Balogun. Because if we can get him locked into English nationality, he looks like he could be a great talent. So,
oh, hell yeah. Hell yeah.
I mean, the one that shocked me as well, aside from Phillips, was Conor Gallagher. Just hardly...
Yeah.
He got in the World Cup squad, though.
Gallagher's
somehow.
in, Mason Mount's in.
I think Joe Willock should be ahead of him, if I'm perfectly honest.
Well, a lot of Newcastle fans have said that. But his time will come, I'm sure. And Eddie Howe pointed that out today in the press conference. He said that, his time will come if he keeps going like he is. It'll be inevitable that he does get a call up. But James Maddison's in there, which I don't mind at all. But some of them, I mean, Eric Dyer's in again. I mean, it beggars belief. He's got his favourites. There is no doubt about that in my mind, that he will not grow some balls and pick some different players. But it's never.
He shouldn't be there. It's nothing to do with changing. He should have been gone as soon as we're out of that World Cup. This is dead time we could be using for a fresh manager and rebuilding. And
I agree.
It's dead time. It's wasted.
I absolutely agree. Jackie Nicholson, good evening. Diane, good evening. Geordie Boy, NUFC Ollie, hope you're well. James, I keep calling him Jimmy. Hope everyone is doing well. 3 hours of transfusions. Mate, I've just spoke to you on Twitter, actually, so stay strong, buddy, and you know where I am. And thank you for reaching out as well this week. Really kind. Good evening, everyone, says Mr. Reactions. Colin Morton, good evening. Jesus, there's so many people in. John Green says good evening. Southern Geordie says, did you see when Luke Edwards asked Eddie if they were targeting Champions League? Eddie said he'd have to duck the question, and that Muppet gave an audible sigh of disappointment. Look, to be honest, I would love Eddie Howe to come out and say, yes, we're going for it. That's just my personal opinion. I would love to see our manager come out and say, yeah, why can't we go for it, Alex?
I mean, I don't agree, but that's fine. I don't think he needs to. I don't think it's his style.
No, it's not his style. But
it would appease fans like yourself. It wouldn't appease me. I think it's very clear by the league table. We're in that hunt anyway. We're a game in hand. Yeah. We're well in the mix. There's not that many games to go. If we can thread together 3 or 4 wins and have a good run of form, we're very much dangerous in that top 4 spot. I mean, we're still in the mix now. So. Whether Eddie Howe says yes or no does not change the league table and how many games are left. So, I mean, it helps some fans. Other fans is not. I'm not bothered. I can see that we're in the hunt. So,
he doesn't need to say anything. It's trying to win every game, and if we win all of our games, we will be in the Champions League.
Yeah, I guess he's already come out and said we go out to win every game. So
Paul needs a bit of reassurance, guys.
Just a little bit, just something. I've got it from you two, so I'm happy with that. I don't need Eddie Howe. You two have just put me right there, so I'm happy with that. Doug, good evening, and a massive congratulations to Doug, who announced today that he's going to be a daddy. Absolutely fantastic news, and hope everything goes well for you and the wife, Doug. And it's incredible news. Couldn't have happened to a better person. He's such a lovely bloke. Of course, he's been on the channel numerous times, and he's a big friend of the channel.
So make sure, guys, if you ever want to buy anything for him as a celebration, go onto his channel. You can get him little NUFC baby grows and stuff. We can convert him early. We don't want another
absolutely.
Fan.
Yeah. Ian Skinner, good evening. JT Dunks this afternoon, everyone. Hope we're all topper. Another tea time special of the #1 Toon channel on the old YouTube. Awesome. Thank you, buddy. Another super chat just come in there. £10 from George Ricard. George, I hope everything's okay with your wife, matey. I know she's been going through some difficulties, so thoughts and prayers are with you, mate, and hope everything's okay. And thank you very much for that super chat, my friend. We may as well talk a little bit about Callum Wilson because, I found it bizarre that I mean, obviously, Alex, you've been at work, Billy, but you know what? I did that video earlier on. I found it bizarre that Callum Wilson said that he hadn't trained for a week and a half. And, you know, it's getting to the point now where we wonder what's going on, because he's clearly not in the England squad because of his lack of form. I think it's 1 goal in 15 or 16 now for Callum. He hasn't looked the same player since the World Cup. He just simply hasn't. That's fact, not fiction. And not training. Now, again, it wasn't said what was wrong with him. All that was said was that he's got a niggling fitness issue. Now, Billy, you know, we can talk about it till the cows come home, but until Callum or the club announce what is going on, we'll never know.
No. And if he sat on the bench again on Sunday, tomorrow, Sunday, we're going to wonder why. And because there's nobody else, basically. So a 40, 50, 60% fit Callum Wilson is obviously better than anything else. So,
yeah.
And when he comes on the pitch and he's walking around at snail's pace and not making any attempts to challenge for the ball or not getting near the ball in the area, you know, it's because he's got niggling fitness issues. But we shouldn't have been left in this position, should we? You know, I find it amazing that we've only got 2 strikers we can pick from, 2 centre forwards.
Yeah, I agree.
At this stage of the season.
Alex, are you surprised at all?
By what specifically?
By the fact that he's come out and said he hasn't trained for a week and a half, you know, and you can see when he's on the pitch. I mean, he went on to say, just before you comment there, Alex, he went on to say that he's delighted that Newcastle brought in Alexander Isak. He said he's great around the dressing room, he's great in training, and he was so happy that he scored. However, it gave him that kind of, you know, when you see somebody competing for your place score, it gives you that extra urge, which we thought we might have seen when he came on the pitch on Sunday, but we didn't. Are you surprised at that?
Not if he's not fit. Again, I'll go back to what I normally say to people who argue with me on the fan forum. It doesn't matter how much you pay a human being, they are not robots. They have, you know, a certain muscular endurance. Their nervous system can take so much, recovery periods, mental fatigue, physical fatigue, age, just maybe safeguarding old niggles, knocks. There's so much that comes into it. It doesn't matter whether you pay them $500,000 a week or $100,000 a week or $1,000 a week. Mm-hmm. It doesn't matter. It just completely depends on the specific situation with that athlete. And obviously something's not right. It doesn't surprise me that he's not trained, because we've had this recently, that this calendar year, was it January, he came out and said that Wilson's not trained. He played a bunch of games for us, and then Eddie Howe came out and said, oh, he's played the last 3 or 4 matches, but he's not actually trained. He's just playing matches, and now we can have some training. So he's just being nursed through games, essentially, because we've got no one else. Again, it was a gamble by the club with FFP, with replacements for Wood and Shelvey. I respect that they've decided not to bring in, because I tell you what, people would have soon turned if we'd have brought in the wrong replacements for Wood and Shelvey. The same people that are frustrated would have been frustrated again, saying, oh, we shouldn't have rushed. We shouldn't have brought in this guy or this guy. They're not good enough. They would have been doing the same thing. So, you know, the club or the owners and the people like Dan Ashworth are going to lose whichever way you spin this. They're going to say, oh, we didn't replace them, or you replaced them with the wrong person. Because odds are, if we rushed it, we weren't going to replace them with the right players. Very, very unlikely. So it's just very sad for Callum, unfortunately. I mean, we've said this for the last 6 weeks. We love him. He's got lots of credit in the bank. He's a great striker. Your ability to play doesn't just disappear. There's clearly something wrong. And I'm still happy to give him the benefit of the doubt. And let's leave him on the bench, and hopefully we can get a bit more of awesome Callum Wilson back for the final 5, 6, 7, 8 games of the season. Maybe give him a bit of time. Yeah. We might get some good performances out of him yet.
Time will tell, won't it? Shamrock says, I'm fed up listening to fans saying we aren't ready for the Champions League. I know I've seen this banded around time after time saying we aren't ready. At this precise moment, are we ready for the Champions League?
No.
Absolutely not. We're a million miles away. However, if we do reach the Champions League, that opens doors in the summer to bring a big squad in, which I believe what we're going to do anyway. We know, and the people that run the club know that we are stretched when it comes to squad, right? They will put that right. But it doesn't happen overnight. But if we reach the Champions League, we are going to build a squad for the Champions League. If we go into the Europa League or Conference, we will build a squad that is capable of competing on a Thursday and Sunday. It's what you have to do. West Ham, I think a couple of years back when they made Europe, they didn't improve their squad in the summer. And I think it took a hell of a bounce for them because they really were fatigued at the end of the season. Now, if you build a squad up, which we will have the money to do, then I'm not worried about us being ready for a European competition.
But this is great because we've got two ready-made examples of how not to do it in Everton and West Ham. Everton with how they structuring spending, West Ham with, a club who overachieved, did really, really well, got into Europe, and now struggling with squad size and squad quality. So we've got some great blueprints to that's blueprints to avoid. Although I think that's a bit harsh on West Ham. I think West Ham are considerably better than their league position suggests. But you can see how hard Europe can be. West Ham's starting 11 on its day can beat anyone, and he's a brilliant side, but they are really struggling. Europe at any point, whether it's Conference or Champions League, it's really draining on the squad. I mean, what have we done this year? We've had one FA Cup game. And apart from that, we've been in two competitions, really. Premier League, Carabao Cup, and we've struggled. So if we suddenly next year want to also do an FA Cup run and Europe and go in the Carabao again, we need a lot of players.
We need players. James Wells, thank you for your £5 super chat. He says, it's bad that we only have two strikers to choose from. If one gets injured or both, who do we play? Well, there is the $1 million question there.
Probably just Maxi.
Maxi, indeed. George, that's good to know. She got the all clear. Brilliant. That's really good news as well. Good evening, Pedro. Hope you're well. Wilson's got 1 goal in 17. Apparently, that is the stats at the minute. Williams says win against Forest, and then Man United will put us above those arrogant twerps. Indeed, and I think that's good to know, isn't it? Because I think we need. We need to beat them in April. My God, do we need to beat them? Good evening, Tom. Hope you're well. Time caught me out. Well, Tom, you are in the mod group, mate, and 6 o'clock is the start on a Thursday. That is shocking. Stu says our whole squad has developed a winning mentality, and that will breed confidence and hopefully success. Hopefully. Sean Stevenson, good evening to you. To coin a phrase, says Wilson's probably wearing my Garmin. Where it tells me I'm dead all the time. Interesting.
My fitness watch has started doing that as well.
Very annoying. You're dead?
Yeah. I was on a cross trainer last week and it said my heart rate was like 32. I was like, no, not an Olympic athlete. It's definitely wrong.
On the cross trainer, 32.
I'm sure you didn't have Mo Farah's fucking Fitbit on.
I'm sure, yeah.
I must have done, yeah.
Absolutely. I've just got the Galaxy Watch. Actually, it tells me my blood pressure now, which is really clever. You hook it up. You go on the blood pressure machine 3 times with the watch on, and then it.
They're good when they work. Mine decided to stop being accurate, which is really annoying.
And it does actually work because I did it alongside the proper one a couple of times, and it came up with very, very similar readings. So it does work.
I don't quite go as far as Bruno does with his sleep ring, though. He's got one of the fancy smart rings where it tracks his sleep and everything. That's crazy.
Well, I mean, in most watches, track your sleep a little bit, but I can't because the battery's dead. So I don't. But I can track my own sleep. I know when I'm awake and I'm asleep. You know what I mean? I don't need to track the bloody thing. But there you go. Troll says if Wilson is unfit, why not use Anderson as a striker sub? He is fit at least, in my opinion. I don't think Elliot Anderson's a striker, though. Yes, he can score goals, but I don't think he could play that position.
It's a good way to destroy a young player's confidence.
Yeah,
lad, go up top against Man United, see what you do. If he doesn't have a good job, that's going to hurt his confidence a lot.
Yeah, definitely. Who's that?
I don't know, ain't me.
Bear with me 2 seconds, Billy.
I know who it is. We know who this is, don't we, Alex?
We do.
What confidence comments did we get to here?
Sorry, I'm distracted. I'm filling out Forest's injury list, and it's taking me a while because half their squad is injured. Yeah. taking a long time.
I've still got 338 to choose from, so that's not how bad, is it, really?
6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. They got 11. Yeah, 11 players injured. Bloody hell.
Are they? Anyone of note?
Yeah, many. But we'll go through them when we do the tactics board, because I'm putting them all up there.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Man United are currently playing in Betis. It's still 0-0. And the Qatari fella that's trying to buy them, apparently he's going to put another bid in, but. It's kind of, they want 7 billion for it, and this year's.
Hello, everybody. This is little Lily. Show them your pot. There you go.
Wow.
Brave little girl, and she just wants to say something to everybody.
Thank you. My wrist's getting better.
So there you go. Our wrist is getting better. She's been back to the hospital today, and. It's moved slightly, but not to the point where they need to do anything. They're quite happy to leave the cast on, go back next week, and then get sorted. So she just wanted to come on and thank everybody for the well wishes, etc., and the super chats and stuff. So I'm sure she'll spend that wisely. But just
Lily, you're getting time off school because of this.
Billy's asking if you're getting time off school.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Brilliant.
She's been off all week. Yeah, but she doesn't like being off, do you? She wants to go back. I think she wants to get a cast signed by everybody. But there you go. But she's just popped on for 2 minutes to say thank you. I'll be back in a second, guys.
Yeah, brilliant. What a star she is. Fantastic. So this Forest game, I mean, it's one we've got to win, really, isn't it? It's a crucial game for us. I think definitely we've got to win it.
Yeah, considering their recent run of form, they've been losing. They got pumped 4-0 by West Ham. They lost to Fulham. They lost to Spurs. We should really be beating them. Considering, although they're outperforming where a lot of people thought they would, but for people who remember our Nottingham Forest preview at the start of the season, we did go through in quite in-depth detail who they'd signed. I mean, they went on to sign a lot more players after we played them, but they recruited well. They recruited some good players from the Bundesliga. It was balanced. The question was, would they gel quick enough? No, they didn't at the start of the season, but now they're doing a little bit better. They've had some good results. They got a 1-1 against Man City not that long ago. So, you to get 1-1 against Manchester City, you've got to be somewhat a team. So.
Well, I didn't mention in the video today, they've probably got about, upwards of 5,000 players on the books.
Well, the team we're going to play tomorrow is not going to look anywhere near like it did in August when we played them at St. James's Park. You're not going to remember anybody.
Indeed.
Different goalkeeper, different back four. It's all going to be different.
George says, thank you for another £5. He says, I'm doing a mental health vlog on YouTube. Excellent, mate. I did one. I think it's had a few views. I did one a year or two ago. And Martin Watson, thank you for your $9.99, I should say, for Lily. Thank you very much, Martin. Very, very kind indeed. Sean says, no one is expecting us to do well in the Champions League or the Europa League. It's a stepping stone, and look at where we are going. Talking about Wilson there, I think. Lewis had heard a rumour that Wilson has been cheating on his wife and she's left him. Look, you're going to get a lot of rumours going around. I have seen many, many rumours that his wife's moved back down to the Coventry area. But Billy, you haven't heard anything being down there. That's not for us to talk about, guys, to be honest. I'd rather stay away from that because, that's putting rumours out there that haven't been confirmed. And I'm not dealing with that. As far as I know, it's down to Callum's fitness and nothing else. Toon Dave, thank you for your £5 super chat. Get well soon, Lily. Bless her, and desperately wanting to get back to school. Yeah, she's one of the few, I think, who actually wants to go back. But I think she wants to show that cast off to all her friends, to be honest. Ollie says, how good was the video of Big Joe congratulating all the players after the Wolves game? Well, it didn't surprise me because that's the sort of camaraderie that we have in the squad now, Billy.
Oh, absolutely. He's a massive, massive influence on the pitch. He's clearly one off the pitch as well, isn't he? And to welcome them all in individually was just great to see. And it's that team spirit that Eddie Howe's instilled into, isn't it? That we haven't had for a long, long, long time at Newcastle United. So yeah, it's great to watch and see. Love it.
Yeah. Chippers thought it was John Sinclair's neighbour knocking at the door. yeah. For all those that don't know that, he was doing a video one night. I think it was quite. Was it on the horse? I can't remember. And his neighbours started banging on the door because John was apparently making too much noise, which I didn't understand because he clearly wasn't. But he had to keep going down to the door. And then so the comments that were coming in were just absolutely brilliant. Forest, Jackie says Forest 11 players injured, another 5,000 to choose from. Everybody saying get well soon. Lily, thank you very much. Richard, she's so sweet, brave girl. Thank you very much. Shamrock says here, Super Lily, glad to see you're on the mend. Thank you guys for all the comments. Sean says, Paul, she must have been the good-looking one in the family. Funny. She's my stepdaughter, actually. She's not biological, but basically she calls me dad, and I think of her as my daughter, just like my other kids. So, which is how it should be. They're a big family now, and that means the world to me. Tacoini Fraser says, does the 11 on the injury list really count as their final 25, though? Or is it a bit like saying Matty Longstaff is injured?
No, most of them are important players. I've just seen something really funny, and I'm gonna override to say it because it's hilarious. Chris Wood is their third top scorer. We've only just sold him. That's really bad.
But he's only got one goal, hasn't he?
He's got 3.
Has he?
Apparently he's got 3, yeah. On FOTMob it says, so Brennan Johnson with 7, Awoniyi with 4, and then Chris Wood with 3.
Maybe 2 of them first, though.
Wow.
Unless it's including his goals for us in his Forest statistics. Maybe FOTMob doesn't separate them. But even so, that's quite funny.
Bloody hell. Baz Leng, thank you for the £10 super chat. What a little stunner Lily is. This is for a brave soldier. Thank you, Baz. That's really kind. Jacka says, Lily, our TTR munchkin. Indeed. Jack can't believe they're just desperate to go to school. Kisses off, misses up the A1. Thank you very much. Would-be farmers as Forest as well at home, do they not? Well, we'll find out shortly. Ben says, are there still daft fans out there wanting Eddie Howe out? Here is a fact for you lot. In the league, we have only lost to Man City and Liverpool since the 3rd of April last year. Who else can say that? Brilliantly said, Ben. Well said. Foxy says, Forest have done brilliant. Home form immense. Credit to Cooper, who was getting slated by a lot of people. Absolutely. Steve Cooper, indeed, is done really well for Forest. And look, he's given them a fighting chance as well after a not so good start, I think it's fair to say.
I'm not surprised.
I mean, I don't think he'll win any awards for best looking manager in the Premier League, Billy.
Absolutely not. He looks like a bit like Richard Attenborough used to look years ago, didn't he? Kind of.
Really?
Yeah. When I saw him playing, managing the first game, I was really, I thought Richard Attenborough when he played Christie.
All right. Oh, Jesus. Pedro says, I've got an 11-year-old daughter, poor mate. She's my world also. Nice to see she's feeling better. Our big sisters look after her as well, though. They really do. David says, I didn't hear Ralph Hassan Hoodle Doodle Doodle Pot Noodle complaining about Forest. Well, that's because he was out of a job when Forest signed all them players. He'd been released. I mean, look, Forest will give us a game, Alex. There's no doubt about that tomorrow, won't there? They will give us a game.
I
know you're confident. I know you're confident, but they are at home, and they will. I mean, look, what I mean by that is they'll come out strong. They'll come out. The crowd will be behind them. We need to silence that very quickly.
I'm not so sure. Maybe. I mean, I'm not convinced. Their lineups change so much. I think they've had a lot of fresh injuries. There's going to be a lot of rotation in their squad. I think their defensive players and the goalkeeper are going to be settled. They've played recent matches together, but there's going to be central changes, offensive changes. I think we're quite a hard team to play against. I don't think it matters because I think we typically put on the first 15 to 20 minute performances out of pretty much any team in the Premier League. I think Arsenal, on occasion, have come out firing like straight out the traps. But I think generally 9 times out of 10, our first 15 minutes of matches, we are electric. A lot of the time we've not been scoring, but we look so dangerous. Just pressure. Everybody's fit, fresh, running, constant, just harassment all over the pitch. It's so I'm not too bothered about the first 15 or 20 minutes. I just want to make sure that our huge spells of dominance translates into goals. Because there were so many times this season where we've absolutely been on top for 30, 35 minutes, and it's just we're still at 0-0. And we're like, oh, for God's sake. So I'm not bothered about the Forest
Alex,
crowd,
apparently
really.
those 3 goals include the 2 he scored for us.
Okay, so FOTMOB hasn't separated them for some reason.
I thought he'd only got 1. I think he scored against Man City, didn't he, for Forest? And I think that's the only time. So it would make sense that the 3 were. Nathan says, I love how Wood took the number 39 at Forest to try and channel his inner Bruno.
Well, Brennan Johnson's got 20, so he couldn't take that one.
Absolutely not. Dex says, Lily is a credit to you, Paul. Beautiful wee girl. Is she the wee one that the Man United fan was shouting in her face? No, that was Phoebe, my middle daughter. I've got 3 daughters, because obviously I class Lily as my own now as well, and a son. So she was the middle one, Phoebe, who went to Wembley. Credit, but Susan takes all the credit for that. She's just an incredible mother. She really is an incredible stepmom to my 3 as well. She's just wonderful, and it's a lovely family environment that we've got now. NUFC Ollie says we should get Loddy from Forest. He looks lost there. Listen, we did a transfer show on him, and he looked okay, but he hasn't exactly set the world on fire since going to Forest. He's been quite poor.
Apparently, pals with Bruno though, by all accounts.
Is he really? Oh, okay. So was Paqueta though, Billy. Let's not forget.
This is true.
The rigmarole with that we had. Right. I think we're ready for some graphics, don't you guys? But to celebrate the graphics coming back for the match preview, we simply have to bring Daisy in, don't we? We have to have a bit of Daisy to celebrate the stats. There you go. There is Daisy celebrating the return. Alex, I don't have anything. Oh, I do. Yes, there they are. Here we go.
Give me 1 second. I'll put in a bit of view.
Yes. There we go. There you go.
Right, so let's go to tactics board.
Hooray. Oh, look at this, man.
So we've got a different view this time. So this is the Forest lineup. From their most recent match against Spurs. It's not likely to look like this against us, though. Although, I haven't put all the players on here, so you'll have to ignore that because there were some changeovers with this lineup. So the back 4 here, so ignore that there's not enough players on the pitch, that doesn't matter. So Lodi, Felipe, Worrell, and Serge Aurier are likely to be their back 4 against us with Navas. This is likely to change around. So let's go to the one we need, which is... This is the main one. This is their predicted starting 11 against us. So a lot of websites are predicting that they're going to try and match up in a 4-3-3 with obviously John Joe Shelvey in midfield with Yates and Freuler. I think that's how we're saying that. Let's go with that. Freuler. I'm not quite sure how this is going to play out on the pitch. It's being set up as like the way they set it up on all the websites was a bit like this. Kind of almost like a funny diamond, like a wonky diamond. So Gibbs White was kind of further back. So I'm not sure if Gibbs White is going to play really up, like really far. I would imagine he's going to drop into midfield and it's going to be a rotating diamond with Shelvey at the base. So Denny, obviously from Watford last year, we did him on several transfer shows. Quite a dangerous player, scored 10 goals for Watford. So you know, he's not set the world alight for Forest, but it's still a cracking player, and we've got to pay some respect to him. Andre Ayew, yes, I'm not sure he's got that much in the way of legs left, but he's still an incredible player. 60 goals for Marseille across a 5-year stint before he came to Swansea, and then I think his last spell was in Qatar. So, but he's back because Forest just bought everyone with a name. And this is what it's going to look like. So obviously, when we played them last time, they had I can't remember his name. Is it Diakite? Diakite? They had the huge big black centre back that was really, really good, and Callum Wilson struggled against him. He's not going to be playing. I'm not sure where he is. He's not on the injury list. I don't know, but. So it looks like it's going to be Felipe and Worrell, the captain, as the centre backs. Obviously, Worrell played in the last game. Aurier's come in, and Lodi, who we were linked with, Renan Lodi. And then, obviously, very, very well-known keeper in Navas, because Henderson is injured or out. So it does leave Mangala and Lingard not on the injury list. So I'm assuming we might see Lingard. It's very possible that this predicted lineup is wrong. It's possible that Lingard might be in here somewhere. That he did make a bunch of halftime substitutions against Tottenham Hotspur. So he did bring on, I think he brought on Ayew at halftime. He brought on Lingard at halftime as well. He brought on Wood slightly later. So this is the injury list. If you're wondering what all these white players are here over here. So Bolly's injured as a centre-back option. So Henderson and Hennessy are both injured. So that's 2 goalkeeping options injured. Not that really affects the game because Navas is a good keeper. Awani is injured. We saw him in the reverse fixture. McKenna's gone. Richards is gone. Scarpa's gone. Biancone's gone. Chris Wood, I think, is ineligible anyway because he still technically counts as on loan until the summer. But he's got a knock and he's out till possibly early April. Kouyaté, again, is a good player, is out. And Brennan Johnson is out, who is quite dangerous. And he would be starting where presumably Ayew is, because he normally, on their average positioning graphics, Johnson is normally like their highest player. He will always play on the last shoulder of the left-sided centre back or a full-back. So this is what I think we can most likely expect. It makes sense because they could match us up kind of man for man. In a way, it depends what they do. So this is what it's going to look like. It's quite slow. It really is. With our pace if we're playing like Willock, Maxi, Isak, if Miggy starts and everybody's really energetic, like Yates is quite slow, Shelby's quite slow, Aurier is not as quick as he was, Worrell's never been fast, Ayew's not going to be that quick at tracking back. There's a lot of they're not sort of hyper mobile, a lot of these players. So you Gibbs White and Denny, yes, are very energetic, but there's not a lot of pace in this side. This might work well on certain attacks. If we get sort of Gibbs White, Denny and Lodi, that could be dangerous. That's one to watch, especially if Trippier gets caught out, which he's been known to. So let's go to Forest. So this is the FOTMob view. So you can see what they're predicting our lineup to be as well. So they're basically saying that Murphy's going to get re-benched and they're going to give Miggy a go after his goal. And this is their predicted lineup. So as you can see, they've predicted Gibbs White to be kind of deep in a weird 4-3-3.
Yeah.
And if we scroll down, there's our little injury list with Joe Linton suspended. And there is their enormous list.
Jesus Christ.
So if we go down, Chris Wood, hamstring injury until early April. Okay, and then some actual statistics. So on FOTMob, let's zoom in a little so people can see. So goals per match, they're only scoring 0.8 goals per match in the 16th in the league. And goals conceded per match, they are very close to rock bottom.
Oh, who's number one, Alex?
I know, right? Oh, I shouldn't have clicked on it. So yeah, we are still first behind, in front of Man City with 0.7 conceded. But Forest are one away from rock bottom with 1.8. So they are, on average, conceding nearly 2 goals a game. So again, I would be really disappointed if we didn't beat these. We really should be with how everything's matching up. So their XG actually matches up with where they should be in. So expected goals, they're 16th, and goals, they're 16th. So that works. Clean sheets, 7 clean sheets is not that bad for a team that have just been promoted.
They have improved, haven't they? Yeah.
That's quite good, to be fair, in 13th. Average possession is extremely low, so I would fully expect us to be really dominating the match, which is why I'm a bit confused. 4-3-3 and the predicted lineup looks very brave in my opinion. If they want to match us up formation wise, and we're probably going to be quite dominant. It's quite, I don't know, it feels risky unless we have one of our days where we forget our shooting boots. Shots on target, they are dead last. Big chances created, nearly dead last. Big chances missed. Oh, they're not missing that many, to be fair. If we zoom out a bit so we can see. Accurate crosses, there's us again in first for something.
Wow.
So they are very, very low for a lot of different things. Very low on the accurate long balls, very, very low on accurate passes. So they're not. You can see this is a team that it's not necessarily that they're lacking quality. There's just too many players and too many changes, in my opinion. I think this team could be a lot higher in some of these metrics. Maybe next season if they can stay up. Is there anything they're good at statistically here? I'm trying to find something. I mean, they're good at clearing the ball.
They're good at conceding penalties, Alex.
They are as well. 7 penalties conceded, so that could be one. Obviously, if Miggy, Isak, and Maxi are all playing, obviously we get a lot of. Typically, we get the odd centre back pushed over in the box or a shirt pulled. So yeah, second in the league. I mean, they're joint first with Bournemouth with 7 penalties conceded. That's a good spot. So that could be one to watch with our front three. And in terms of possession won in the final third, they're also 19th. So they've only won the ball back 4 times. Oh my God. I think Miggy's probably got triple that just on his own.
That's got to be per game, surely. That's got to be per game because Man City's
it does say per match. It does say per match, yeah. Even so, Miggy can generally do that on his own sometimes.
Yeah.
He's definitely had games where he's done that.
By the way, Alex, Foxy's just messaged saying that Scarpa got scammed for £1 million through a cryptocurrency scam, and he's been in Brazil dealing with it. So yeah,
I hope he didn't run away from it, Scarpa.
Oh, yeah.
I
did wonder why it said personal reasons on there.
Yeah,
but I mean, I'm seeing a bit of a theme here with muscle injury, hamstring, muscle. You've got leg, hamstring. It's all very similar injuries, but
I guess Scarpa knows one of our ex-viewers. I'm not going to mention his name.
Oh no, let's not.
So there we go. There's some graphics to give you a bit more insight for tomorrow's match.
Absolutely superb, and it's so good to see them back, guys. Alex, that was absolutely superb, mate. However, John R is not happy with you. Did you need to state black there, Alex? I doubt it. Well,
yes, kind of, because we talk about it. There's a certain profile of player, isn't there, when you're talking about a player with strength of African descent. If you look at teams from the Ivory Coast and Nigeria, they've often modelled their own kits and sort of World Cup things on specifically that they pride themselves on that. Why is that? That's not racist.
I mean, John, it's that kind of comment.
Yeah,
it's absolutely ridiculous to come out with a comment like that, John, to be fair, because that's why people jump on bandwagons and things like that. It's not racist. It wasn't racist at all. It was just a point of conversation. And
I said it's the really, really big centre back, and I avoided a description. I think that's
exactly.
More racist.
Honestly, it's comments like that cause pylons, and it's ridiculous. Abs, thank you very much for your £10 super chat. Simply for the return of the graphics. Abs has been looking forward to the return of the graphics for a long time now, and when it went through, no problems at all.
I'm just playing around with the different pitch side view and how we do it, so it might change. I'm just playing around with different things.
Yeah,
I think that was well improved, mate. I love them.
I have also been doing my homework, guys, as you know, for tonight with some statistics, if I can find them. There they are. Right. So, Nottingham Forest versus Newcastle United at the City Ground. However, the all-time record, this is home and away. We've played Forest 113 times. Nottingham Forest have won 34 of those games. Newcastle 52 of those, with 27 drawn. Now, the last Premier League game that we played at the City Ground was back in March 99. Can any of you guys remember what the score was?
March 99. So that would have been Hullet, wouldn't it? Ron Atkinson in charge of Forest. No, I'm going to say 2-1 Newcastle.
It was 2-1 to Newcastle, Billy. Shearer with a penalty and Dietmar Hamann. Now, the last match we actually played at the City Ground was in the League Cup, of course, 29th of August 2018. And I think that is a game that nobody will forget. Forest winning, of course, 3-1 in what was a disgraceful refereeing performance.
That wasn't League Cup. That was Championship, wasn't it? That wasn't League Cup.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Yeah, that wasn't League Cup. The League Cup game was just a pile of crap. But it was around, we played them twice, I think, very quickly, didn't we? Now, the all-time Premier League record is, well, something that I don't think Nottingham Forest fans will want to see. We've played them only 9 times in the Premier League, which is incredible, really. But remembering the Forest have been out the Premier League for quite some time now. We've played them 9 times. We've won 6, 3 drawn, and Forest have never beaten us in the Premier League. So Forest have scored 4 goals against us in those 9 games. We have scored 17. So, I mean, that bodes well, Billy, those stats, don't they?
Yeah, you got to remember that the first season of the Premiership, we weren't in it and they got relegated. So we swapped places. They got promoted the year after that. But yeah, they were relegated, like you say, at the end of the 90s. So 4 seasons of games, isn't it?
But of course,
4.5 seasons.
Yeah. It was a draw down there, wasn't it, when Keegan lost his rag?
Yeah, that was
when
the,
he
that
said,
was
I
the
would
big
love
game.
it, love it. Yeah.
Ian Wone.
Oh, God, yes, absolutely. John Bruce says, for those people still doubting Eddie Howe, have a look at 2 specials on Netflix, also on YouTube. They're absolutely fascinating to watch. Also, he did not relegate Bournemouth. Incompetent officials did. John, I know that. And we mentioned that on this channel many, many times when people were coming on saying, oh, he got Bournemouth relegated. Well, I'm sorry, but they wouldn't have been relegated had that bloody goal line technology worked at Villa, because clearly Villa should have gone down that season, and everybody knows they should have, and they got away with one. But he also had horrendous injury problems throughout that season. Let's not forget that either. So no, but yeah, you're right, John. He's got some brilliant. Watching him, how he sort of, I think there's one on the way. Was it the Chelsea game? There's a little bit on that, how he mastered the win over Chelsea at Bournemouth when Chelsea were flying, and Bournemouth went there and won. The meticulous work that he puts into every single football match is just incredible. Shelby won't be able to handle our pace. Yeah, go on.
2 of my friends have just messaged me about that guy's comment, the racist comment, and told him to F off. So you've upset a lot of people with that comment. Like, I've just looked as well. He's Senegalese. Like, we've had Demba Ba and Papi Cisse. What's wrong with being black and pointing out that they're black? It's important in sport.
He doesn't look Senegalese on his...
That's really irritated me, that has. When talking about professional support, your genetics...
Oh, the player is Senegalese. I'll get it.
Yeah. He was born in French. He's French Senegalese. Yeah. But I understand that it can be weird in a general sense, but in an athletic sense, it's very valid when you're looking at genetics.
But describing someone as black is not racist. It isn't racist.
But it was relevant to the conversation. If I'm describing
of course it was. The reason I highlighted Alex, I could have just ignored it, but I didn't want to, because I think that kind of thing can spark pylons without addressing it, and that's why I addressed it.
You can talk about a Nordic. You can talk about an Icelandic built striker. You can talk about a quick Italian winger. And you build up images in your head based on players you've seen play throughout history on teams. What's wrong with that? It's at the professional level, genetics and descent has a huge impact, which is why in like long distance running you get different people more proficient at it from Kenya versus different parts of Africa. It's really important. So that's really naive and stupid to point that out.
Yeah, well, that's why I brought it up, Alex, because I wanted to address it so we didn't get a pylon. So that's why normally I wouldn't give that kind of comment at the time of day. Exactly. Shamrock says, Paul, how many monumental bell ends are there at Forest statistically? Oh, now let me think. Actually, you know what it is? I don't think even Colback really. You know what? I don't mind Nottingham Forest. I'm glad they're back in the Premier League. You know, there have been a miss.
Where is Colback?
Well,
he's not injured. He's not anywhere near this predicted lineup.
He certainly played the other week.
He did. He's around somewhere, but I just think he gets forgotten about sometimes, the Ginger Perlo.
It's because they don't give you a predicted bench. So he might be on a predicted bench if they did.
I think you'd be. I would think you'd be on the bench tomorrow night, given the amount of players that they've got injured. So, you know what? Nobody. I don't mind Forest at all, just as long as we beat them. Baz Down Under says it's a 7 a.m. game for me on a Saturday morning. Great time for me. Well, it would be in Australia, wouldn't it? Just like, sun up, beating through the window. And John's back saying, Paul, you cannot have someone on the channel saying that. John, yes, I can, because it's not. And if you're going to keep going on like that, go and watch somebody else, please. That's trying to bring up an issue like that on a channel. Trying to get me
in trouble for something that's completely valid.
It's ridiculous, and you should be ashamed of yourself, John. Do one. Sophia says, I keep forgetting that this show is on earlier. Sophia, that's shocking, to be honest. James says, Forest have never beaten us in the Premier League. You all heard Paul tempt fate there. I'm not tempting fate. I'm reading statistics. John, I'm not reading any more of your comments out, mate, because you've just made an embarrassment of yourself.
Just get rid of him now. He's pissing me off as well.
Ben says missing Johnson is a massive miss, especially against Dan Burn. Don't be surprised if he starts tomorrow, though. Cooper has been known to lie about injuries at times. Who else does that, Billy? Do you know any other manager?
How would I know?
Exactly, Billy. I know. How would you know? Indeed. People tell me to stop tempting fate. I'm bloody reading stats, man. Cannonball says, well, people these days get upset for others, and it has gone into overdrive these days. Indeed. James says, some people actually do not know calling a man a black man is not racist because they never hear it in a positive way. Very good point. Foxy says, I hate us playing at the City Ground. I just remember Ian Warne ruining our season. Yeah, Billy alluded to that not very long ago. It was heart-wrenching. It was heart-wrenching, Billy. And of course, I think it was Tyler commentating that night, wasn't he? And he made a massive, oh God, he was out with seat. He was probably jumping around with the Forest fans. Bruno G, thank you very much for your $4.99 super chat. He says, forget the idiot, Alex. You're a wee legend. Absolutely. Simon says, you were stating a matter of fact, Alex, and your intent was clear. Ignore these plums. Never worry, Alex. Everyone's too touchy these days. Yeah, you've got a lot of support in the chat, matey, as usual.
Thank you.
It's weird seeing Billy at the bottom of the screen and Alex top right. Well, the only reason I moved them, right, and I'll be honest here, when Alex was doing his stats, I had a comment on last night's show saying that when Alex was putting stuff up on the screen, I started putting comments on, and it was blocking his face while he was talking. So that's why I moved it. And it's nothing to move Billy or Alex. It was just I moved Alex up so people could see him just talking about the stats on the screen, which is the only reason that they were moved. But, it's very easy to move them again. There you go. Back to normal. Ant and Deck, we can't have them in the wrong place.
I used to be up there. Well, it used
That's
to
a good point.
It
So
used to be
we'll
Danielle's
back
corner.
again. There you go.
Everything got moved around.
Oh, dear. Honestly. Dex says, don't worry about it, Alex. He said, nothing wrong. Peep's very sensitive these days, and there's no need. Shamrock says, thanks for answering, Paul. Good crack. You're welcome. Rich says, it's about time we had a hat-trick. Are we going to predict one at the end of the show? We will see. Interesting. He's saying that he didn't say it was racist, but why bring it up then? Exactly. Why bring it up?
Yeah, but that was what you implied by saying that.
Exactly.
Yeah, the implication
to incite a bit of controversy to try and make me feel bad.
Yeah. How do you think that makes people feel, John, when you're seeing comments like that on this? This is why I highlight, because people will see that and be very annoyed and very upset. Because some people joining the show later on won't know what's happened. So you're making a whole mountain out of a little molehill that wasn't even a molehill. So, Alex has got loads of support. People know Alex, and you shouldn't try and upset somebody like that. It's disgusting. Alex was talking generally about a footballer, nothing more. And you come out with that, and you've started this is what I mean. And this is why we've had to address it, because people were shouting at you in the chat and stuff like that, telling you you're an idiot. And it doesn't matter whether people aren't listening or whether you thought it was or wasn't. You brought it up. And why did you bring it up if you didn't think it was that? Absolutely idiotic thing to say. Seriously, have a word with yourself. Geordie Boy says, Alex will sort out a bell end ratio graphic for each team. That would be interesting. Ben says it could be the best atmosphere of the season. Friday night on the River Trent. Forest and Newcastle fans can't wait. I'm not sure whether actually
not
Ben
bad,
might be a Forest
trams
fan.
and a few nice places. It's not too bad.
I've never been to the City Ground. I've never been.
It's great place.
It's all right since I've been an adult. I know it used to have a very bad reputation, but so did a lot of cities. Liverpool had a terrible reputation in the 80s and 90s, but now, the modern times I've been to Nottingham. It looks quite nice.
It's a great place. Great ground as well, City Ground.
Well, I've seen videos, and of course, just over the river is Notts County's ground. It's incredibly close together.
And that's where you go on the piss for the game.
Yeah, there's the famous pictures. You can see both grounds, can't you?
Yeah.
Little pub outside the Meadow Lane with it. Great place to get tanked up for the match.
Yep. Well, ladies and gentlemen, if you ever go to the City Ground, Billy is your man to direct you to the nicest ale houses around there to get tanked up for the game. Arani Granny, thank you very much for your £10 super chat. She says, this is a family. Let's keep it together. Absolutely. Well said. Takonya Fraser says, surprised Alex can move that house that easily. Yeah, it's
not real. Look.
There you go. It's just not real. He's took a picture of my living room when he was up here the other month. And just using it for his background. Sophia says Alex's beard is getting very pointy. Yeah, it is actually. It is.
I don't really know what's going on with it.
It's very black-headed.
I'm not very happy with this haircut. My beard's gone a bit funny. I'm not super happy with how he's done the sides. I don't know. I might change barbers.
Does he groom your beard as well?
Yeah, he did the beard as well.
Wow. Hey, how the other half live, Billy? Yeah.
You haven't got a cod piece on, have you, by any chance?
Got to have somebody draw the lines for you, and then you can go over.
Well, yeah, good point. Yeah. Mason's football chat says, I've got a lot of time for Cooper for what he did at Swansea, the 2 playoff seasons, and failing at the final hurdle, and walked away from the Yankees up top because he wasn't going to get back. Tom says, people just throw accusations and hope it sticks. The media in wow, that's a big word for indoctrinating people. Did I say that right, Alex?
Yeah, I mean, you just say woke people. I mean, that you don't need to get offended for somebody else for something that's not even a concern,
Exactly. Chat Sport says Newcastle will roll over Forest. James says Alex is our stat hero. Don't listen to them, mate. Mason says, and also I've followed Forest a lot since he's gone there, and what a job he's doing, especially with getting back, unlike them bloody Yankees up top. Who's he talking about, Yankees up top?
I'm not sure.
I thought Forest was owned by a Greek guy.
Maybe it's the Swansea owners are Yanks. Are the Swansea owners Yanks? Possibly, I guess.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Tony says, Alex had the audacity to wear black stripes on his Toon top last weekend. Absolutely disgusting. Dear me. James says, I do not want to tempt fate, but my pal has a job with NUFC and got to meet the Mackham Slayer yesterday. I might become a fan in the know. Oh, hey. James, get Shola on the show, matey. Put the word out. We'll
Shola's not been doing a great job with those loans, so...
Alex, we're trying to get a guest on the show here, not send him away. Stay off the raw meat. If he ever does come on, just have a nice salad before you come on, Alex.
We can ride a bike and eat an apple together, can't we, when he's on?
Absolutely. We can talk about the old times, Mackham slaying and scoring in the Champions League, things like that, Alex, rather than,
Then why is Matty Longstaff gone to League Two?
Let's move on. Stephen says, I think tomorrow is a massive game, lads. We really need to win to put the pressure on the rest. Saturday, Alex forgot that bell end. He obviously looking for attention. Always a great show, lads. Keep it up. Thank you, Stephen. Big up the Toon review. Mafia, says Richard. Can you give me and my mates Chris Palmer, Kyle P, and Scruffy Mick a shout out? Good evening, lads. Hope you're doing well.
Mick sounds a character.
Mick does sound a character, yeah. He's naming nice about all the others and then comes out with Scruffy Mick.
Now you can give us a breakdown as to why he's called Scruffy Mick. That's what you need to comment next.
Yes. Just explain a little bit. Jock says you've got a Jimmy Hill beard going on. Oh, dear God, I would shave it off immediately if anybody said that to me. Lee Kelly says it's the Wolverine look. Well, the way he's going tonight, he may well just have daggers in his hands.
It's going a bit grey. I'm starting to turn into Roy. Oh, no, I'm not allowed to say that. That might be racist as
well. Well, to be honest, that's an insult to me, Alex. I feel offended by that because I do have grey hairs in my beard.
I meant because we've got the similar sort of thing going on. It was the pointiness.
Robert says Alex's beard is pointy to match his V-neck jumper. Yeah, it does kind of. It does. It does. Blends in really nice.
A pointy vicar.
Yeah,
like a little dog collar.
It blends now.
Yes, praise you, my child. God, I might have upset somebody by doing that and all. Jesus, God Almighty. Ab says people like John are insidious and sinister. Never give them an inch. Exactly. Foxy says Notts County doing well this season, pushing Wrexham all the way in the National League, both already over 90 points. I think their downfall was when they brought they brought Sven in, didn't they? And it capitulated. I think it's fair to say.
They need to change it to 2 automatic promotions. It's a ridiculous 2 leagues, that is. If anybody likes lower league football, that is ridiculous. You can only get 1 automatic promotion spot in the National League. So there's a huge bottleneck of talent down the bottom end of the divisions in the English Football League where you've probably got 5, 6, 7 teams in the National League that are the same standard as half the lot in League 2. But because you just can't get so hard to actually get promoted, it definitely needs changing. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. People are saying the Forest owners are Greek. Yeah, we're talking about the Swansea owners, not Forest. Tom, good evening to you. And Tom, I just want to give Tom a massive shout out because there's been an account created on Twitter, which is an absolutely disgusting account. I don't know whether you've seen it, guys, but it's awful. Tom, don't listen to it. You're a lovely bloke, mate. I've met you a few times, and keep your chin up. Don't let them bother. I think a lot of people have reported this account, and it will hopefully be hied off quite soon. But just keep your chin up, mate. We're all here. Don't forget that. We've all been through it, and just ignore it. You're a great guy, and just that's what you need to keep thinking. Mary says, sorry, I was just about to switch off because I was drowsy. The next thing I hear about is cod pieces. I'm awake again. Well, there's a surprise. Mary hears that and she shoots up like a meerkat.
Jimmy's a mind reader. Yeah, you know how I've literally just said I wish Southgate would call up that Balogun guy that we did on the transfer show to try and lock him in. The US men's national team have been tweeting about trying to call him up as well, and Jimmy's tagged me in it. Literally, we were thinking the same thing at the same time.
Wow.
No, he can't be playing for the US team. Sod that.
No.
Call him up. Well, he hasn't. I think his most recent youth caps were for us. So, sorry. Well, Southgate, do the right thing. Quit, get a new manager who will then call him up.
Shamrock says, I've skipped going grey, went straight to white, aside from the hair falling out at 28. No, wrong with that. Dr. House says, love your content. Thank you very much. Casper Schmeichel also went to Notts County. He did indeed. Bet Scruffy Mick is the star of the show.
See, I still remember Kasper Schmeichel as the Leeds goalkeeper. That's how he's always. First thing I think about is he is the Leeds goalkeeper, but that was a long time ago.
Yeah,
I remember Coventry City. Strangely enough.
Wow, I mean, Billy, Jesus Christ, do you remember Captain Caveman?
Yeah, he just brought me shopping earlier.
What a car made of just pure cement and stone with stone wheels. Oh God, brilliant. Tom says, I know, Paul, I've made a new Twitter account. Good for you, Tom. Do not let them win, right? Do not let them win. Seriously, that account won't be there much longer. And whoever's created it is sick in the head, quite frankly. Ollie says, why doesn't Danielle feature anymore? She didn't want to. She had a lot going on in her personal life and her job and stuff like that, and she couldn't dedicate the time. So that's why. Sophia said, I had to deactivate on Twitter for a while before Christmas because of troll accounts. Don't let them win, Sophia. You know, listen, speaking for somebody who was trolled and still gets trolled to this day, just fannies. Okay, they really are. They got no life, no hope in life either. They're just not humans.
A bit sexist,
right?
Paul, that was, wasn't it?
Sorry,
a bit sexist, that wasn't it?
What did I say?
Fannies.
Oh my God, I'll be getting. Oh my dear God. Oh, Jesus Christ. Well, Billy, I apologize if I offended you, mate. I just, Dr. House, welcome to Members Club. Thank you very much, and welcome to the Toon Review family. Do you know, I think over the weekend, I think sort of whatever show we do live over the weekend, I think we'll do some giveaways for the members. We haven't done one for a while. Sol Campbell went to Notts County as well. Yes, he did. Right. Here we go.
As well.
He did indeed. He did. Do you know what? We're just educational channel here. We are just with Billy Bob and of course Tom in the chat, Alex with his stats. We're just educational. Me with my fantastic knowledge of, well, there you go. And me with my fantastic knowledge of names. You can't lose on this channel. You just can't lose. Right. It is now time to predict the teams. But before we do that, Time and Tide says, funny means you're bum in the USA. Nothing sexist about bums. We've all got them.
Nice,
absolutely.
True.
Yeah.
We're not in the USA over here. Funny means something else over here.
Yes. Jenny says, ignore the woke idiot Alex's sound. There you go. Dual live commentary tomorrow, just Paul. I think it's just me for the away game tomorrow. But Billy and Alex will join us for their analysis. And hopefully it's good analysis. But I would stick money on Alex saying I'm done with Dan Burn at left back because he said it for the last, I don't know how many times at half time. But there you go.
I mean, he's got Serge Aurier there, so he's partial to a few hissy fits. And oh no, I'm not probably not decided to say that either. Whatever. Serge Aurier gets a bit wound up and can get carded. So
yes, he can.
If he wants to try and square up to Dan Burn, that'll be interesting.
Yeah, well, I'm looking forward to Maxi going at him tomorrow. I really am. I think Maxi will have him on toast.
That'll be a good battle. Yeah, Aurier is quite a good athlete, but he's aging.
All right, but he's not the greatest player in the world though.
He's a bit
right. He has lost a yard of pace.
You what, Billy?
He's a bit loco as well. Let's be honest. Serge Aurier a bit.
Oh yes, okay. Right, team lineups. Billy, how do you think the team's going to line up tomorrow?
I'm torn. I really am torn on one position. But let's go through them first. Let's go through
Pope right wing by any chance, is it?
It is exactly right wing, yeah. Pope in goal, Trippier, Schär, Botman, Burn, Bruno, Longstaff and Willock, Maxi, Isak. I think it'd be really unfair to drop Murphy.
I do as well. I have to say, I think it'd be absolutely unfair.
But I think he's going to, and Miggy will be in at the right wing.
Wow. I didn't expect you to come in with that, Billy. Interesting. How about you, Mr. Stato?
Yeah, I think the same. I think you'd bring Miggy back. It's going to be Pope, Trippier, Schär, Botman, Burn, and then it'll be Bruno, Willock, Longstaff, Maxi, Isak, and Miggy will come back in, I think.
Interesting. I'm going with the same team as last week. I don't think he changes it. I think it'd be incredibly harsh to drop Murphy because I thought, we said it a number of times during the commentary. We said it in the match review that he justified his starting place. And listen, if you get put in the side and you play as well as he did, and then to be left out next game, I think that's just not on, man. I don't think it would be fair. But then again, there's no fairness in football. And I think Murphy would probably understand if he did change it. I mean, Murphy's
a better player than Murphy. And I think he had the desired effect on Miggy. He came on, scored, looked dangerous.
But I'm just basing my thoughts on Eddie Howe's interview saying that, Miggy needed a rest. He's played every game this season. It's just his choice of words. Obviously, it's not a concrete answer.
But his choice of words in the press conference today, Alex, would indicate that he's not going to change it.
What did he say specifically? Because I haven't.
Well, he said that Murphy took his opportunity and he played very, very, very well. And hopefully this will inspire him to good performance, etc.
He has said that about Maxi and dropped him for Gordon a couple of weeks ago.
That is very true as well. Look, you never know. You never know. We'll never know until 7 o'clock tomorrow night. To be
fair, for the first time in a while, I would be okay with either though. I'm not too fussed.
Yeah,
I think they'll both come in and do okay.
Yeah, I have to agree. Yeah,
because Isak and Maxi up top together, Bruno's still playing. I think there's enough, regardless of whether it's Murphy or Miggy. So
yeah, I agree. Sophia says my mum calls me a fanny all the time because I take forever to get ready. Well, you're a woman, Sophia. You know, women do take a lot longer to get ready, and it's that's just a fact of life. And to be fair, Sophia, your mum should know that as well. Being a woman, it's just a thing, isn't it? Men have no pride in themselves. They just, if they're going anywhere, we'll just slog on a pair of. Well, obviously, apart from posh groom man there, I just sling a pair of jeans and a t-shirt. Some of the time, if Susan sends me down to Tesco in the village, I'll have a t-shirt and shorts on. It could be snowing. It doesn't bother me.
Look, I'll believe it. Answer this: you go shopping for a pair of jeans, a man will go to the first shop, see the first pair of jeans. Oh, that'll do. I'll have them.
Yeah,
a woman.
I would do that. Yeah,
a woman sees the first pair of jeans, then goes to 16 other shops, and then goes back to the first one about 3 hours later and gets the first pair.
Do you know what? It's not just clothes, though, Billy. You know, if I go to IKEA with Susan, right, we'll walk through every single department. No, I'm serious, Alex, right? We'll walk through every single department, and she has to touch things. What is it with that they have to touch the material or say, "Oh, this is lovely," and then they've got no intention of buying it. They just walk on, but they have to
rub everything.
They have to rub everything and touch things. I mean, ladies, please explain to me how that works because I don't understand it, and I don't think I ever will. I mean, IKEA is hell on earth for me anyway. You know,
but the ceiling pattern that you're never going to touch anyway. You've just got to confirm the texture is what it looks like.
Oh, that light bulb's an interesting shape. It's a light bulb. You know, it just. Anyway, I digress. Right, score predictions now. Alex, we'll start with you.
3-0.
Oof, you've been confident all week, actually. So yeah,
I have. I if we concede, I can't see how we concede. I'm going to be so disappointed if we do. I just don't see how we concede. I'm thinking about it now, and apart from that little overload that they might be able to create via Lodi and Emmanuel Denny on that left side, Morgan Gibbs White as well. I think though maybe that there might be a goal in Forest, a singular goal, and I think this is a match in which we score more than one goal. So
good player that Gibbs White. Good player.
He's a good player. They paid a lot of money for him, but still. FFP.
So who's going to score, Alex?
So for us, I'm going to go with Willock and 2 from Isak.
2 from Isak. By the way, the Chronicle are reporting that Fabian Scher's injured. Now,
really?
Eddie didn't mention that, but look, we'll see tomorrow night.
Not in the press conference, and it's not in any of the websites.
He's never said anything, but
who does Chronicle? Is that Steve Wraith? No, that's not Steve Wraith.
No, it's one of Gil's. It's the evening paper.
Lee Ryder. Lee Ryder.
Lee Ryder, that's the one. Yeah. I don't know where he's got that from.
Anyway, if Shah is injured, will the cell start? Tom says, yeah. It'll be probably. I don't think Susan will be waiting with the frying pan in hand after that one, Paul. She won't. She'll just laugh. Paul doesn't say that on a night. Susan, you can't say things like that on a live broadcast to all these viewers. I might know, Billy, you'd find it funny. Of course you would. Yeah. Rubbing stuff.
It's not just the. Okay, so it's not come from the Chronicle. The Chronicle have got it from the international squad selection.
Okay. Well,
Switzerland have not called him up for international duty because he's apparently injured. They've not included him.
Yeah. Oh well, we'll see. I guess. J-Bone says that is so true. My missus also touches everything in the stores, lifts up vases and stuff with no real intention of buying it, but still feels a desire to super inspect it. Indeed. Mary finds Susan's comment very funny. There is a surprise. Susan exposing Paul. Beg your pardon? Wow. Toon says, do you guys like Craig Hope? I've never met the guy. I don't have a problem with Craig Hope.
He seems like a nice guy.
Yeah, absolutely.
So apparently it's... so they claim... So Switzerland are claiming The defender has chosen to stay in Newcastle to treat a reoccurring foot pain.
So he'll be playing tomorrow, and then he'll have a bit of warm weather training in Dubai. Sounds better than going on international duty to play useless internationals. So yeah, Alan says my sister-in-law once told my mom which store had the cheapest cat food, even though they didn't have a cat at the time. My God. Well, you obviously haven't upset Roy, Alex, because he's in the chat saying 2-0 of the Toon, despite having grey hairs in his beard. Brilliant. Right, Billy, your score prediction, buddy.
Well, if Nottingham Forest go in that attacking kind of format that Alex put them in, I think we're going to score goals. I think we'll beat them 4-1.
And who's going to get the goals?
I think we may see a hat-trick tomorrow. I think we may see an Isak hat-trick and a fourth one from... Nice. I'm going to say Maxi. I think he's due a goal.
I'd like to see Maxi score. I'm going 4-0, guys. I'm with Alex and Billy. I'm very, very confident tomorrow. I think the amount of injuries that Forest have... I mean, look, it could go two ways. Forest could be like down and out with injuries, and then they could turn up, win the game tomorrow. It would just be Newcastle United all over. But however... we are not that Newcastle United anymore. I think we've got a very, very, very good chance of absolutely stuffing them tomorrow. And not just stuffing them, but making a point to the people around the top of the Premier League, making a point to all these punters who are writing us off. I think they will want to keep going. I'm going 4-0. I'm going Bruno, Botman, and 2 from Isak.
Botman.
Yes, Alex. Botman. It's got to happen sometime, bud. It's got to happen. And... you know, I don't think I've predicted him to score many times, but tomorrow, I think, yeah.
I think it's going to be like Dan Burn, where he'll score a goal we just don't expect him to score. He'll beat 3 and put it in the top corner. We'll be like, oh my God.
Yeah, I mean, look.
It won't be a corner.
One thing we've never seen from Botman, at least I don't think we have, is an absolute lightning bolt from like where Shah hits them from. From where Fabian Schär hits them, I would love Botman to try a couple like that. And just fly.
Yeah, Fabian Schär was a striker in a previous life, definitely, because he loved occasionally. You know, the amount of times. I mean, I think it was against Forest where we saw him. He bombed down the right wing a couple of times. I remember that. Well, we did it on the analysis. It was really strange.
Yeah.
I was going to say
he scored as well, didn't he? He scored in the Forest game.
Well, yeah, that was his thunderbolt.
Yeah, he did. He brought the deadlock, which was very needed because Forest were defending pretty well at that time. James says, "Is John Joe suspended?" No, he'll be playing.
Why would he be suspended?
Yeah, he's playing. Anyway, there you go, guys. We have given you our predictions. Now, should I tell you to go and put a bet on with those scores? Absolutely not, because, you know, going off our predictions, you would be a brave man to put a bet on. However, it may happen. It just may. You never know. But it is exciting times. Hopefully, we go into the game tomorrow. We win the game, which gives us a very nice, peaceful Saturday and Sunday, and go into the stupid international break with our heads up and morale boosting. They go away to Dubai. They have a good warm weather training, and then they come back revitalized, ready to go for it for the last few games of the season, including stuffing the Manx, which we really want to happen. But there you are. I'm back tomorrow night, of course, 7:30 p.m. For the live watch along, play-by-play commentary all the way through for the full 90 minutes. I'll be joined at half-time by these two to get their analysis on the game. It should be a great night. Make sure you join me in the comments for that. Even though it's on TV, once again, just knock the commentary off and watch the game with me, and hopefully see us scoring a few goals. But thank you very much for watching, apart from one bell end. We do appreciate it. If you have enjoyed the show, please do hit the like button. I know I keep babbling on about the like button, but it really does help us in the algorithms, etc. So please just take a moment to hit the like button before you leave the stream. And of course, if you're new to the channel, please come be part of the community by hitting that subscribe button, free to do so, and also that notification bell, which will let you know when we go live, upload, or schedule in a show. Thank you for the super chats again, guys, new memberships, and thank you to the mods again for great work tonight, and to thank you to Billy and Alex for their company. And we will see you tomorrow night for the live watch along, and hopefully another 3 points for the Toon. How are the lads? Good night.
Away the lads and lasses. Come on.